Hey everyone, so I'm back for another fun day of renovations. Before I get into it though, I want to catch you up on some of the work that's been done. So in the kitchen, we've added a couple of receptacles. When the electrician was here, he did this crazy thing. I've never seen these before in my life. I don't know what they do, but it works. And I'm guessing because of this, I can put that in the wall, so I'm not gonna worry about that. Previously over here, we just had a switch, right, for the light. Now that's all hooked in, and I've got this GFCI protected outlet here for both this and that receptacle. Now we're over in the bathroom, and honestly, this is the part I'm most excited about after, like, this is a sign of progress. Ready? 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 Wait for it. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but the fan is working, so thumbs up. Over here, we got our GFCI protected receptacle, and then we get the light fixture, which I don't have yet, so that's staying as is. He put the plates on because I had them here. Honestly, I'm just gonna have to take those off and find a place for them, but whatever, it's fine. And over here in the bedroom, little miscommunication here, but it's okay. I wanted to connect up the lights that I had and just kind of let him dangle. He just did the whips, so that's fine. I'm gonna have to have him come back anyway because there were a few things that I screwed up. So first off, code in my area requires tamper-resistant receptacles. And I didn't even know those were a thing. When I went to the home store, they probably had them, but I didn't know to get them. So that was the first thing I messed up. The second thing I messed up, and this is a little bit, it's not a big deal, but the breakers that I got were not compatible with my panel. I was under the impression that for the most part, you could just go and look for the name of the panel that you have, find the appropriate breaker, and just call it good. And I do think for the most part that's true. The challenge I had was I bought the arc fault and GFCI protected breakers because of what I was doing. And unfortunately, it sounds like I have a cheapo panel downstairs, and I guess the way the neutrals maybe have to tie in, or I don't even know. But anyway, he had to go and get some additional breakers, and I had a small heart attack when he showed me the supply house prices, which were like, I don't know, like $50 each higher than like Lowe's. Lowe's had them. So we found that out. He ended up going and getting some replacement breakers. Not a big deal, though I'm still missing one. So when he comes back again, I'm going to have the drywall up in this room. So I'll have him connect those lights, and we'll take care of the breakers downstairs. So no big deal. Everything works as much as it needs to right now, so I'm good. Today, though, we're going to be focused on this area. First thing we're going to focus on is getting these walls in here all trued up so that we can work on the rough-in for the shower valve, get the shower outlet at the top installed, run the new water lines down through this floor, and then I think we'll be pretty much ready to go to start putting that go board up. And again, I honestly have no idea how bad these walls are, how long it's going to take, so we're just going to get going and hope for the best. Once again, thanks so much for joining me. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and let's get started. All right, so before we get started for the day, I want to share with you my kind of all-purpose loadout. It's going to start with this paint tray. So I'm going to load my oscillating multi-tool in, impact driver, always. And in there, I've also got this bit extender because it usually comes in handy. I don't want to have to look for it when I need it. And then for here, for the water lines, probably just that spade bit. And then I've also got the scraper today because we need to take care of the adhesive that's around that tub. Beyond that, everything else is either going to be worn or it's going to go inside my vest. Got the Knipex vice grips, which are great for pulling nails, staples, whatever. Hammer because hammer. Gloves because I'm really not up for another infection. Tape measure, screwdriver, small pry bar, and big old 2-inch beater chisel that I've been using for a long time. I've never found a use when woodworking for a 2-inch chisel, so I very early on appropriated this as my kind of beater, and it's held up great. First thing I'm gonna do today is pull off some of this old framing for the rough-in valve, because the style of the valve I got is different than the one that was in there before. I'm going to save this stuff, though, because I might end up reusing it. This is one thing that I forgot to show on the loadout. So this is just a regular pry bar. I'm going to use here to get all these pieces of wood off. It's a lot more durable than the little mini pry bar, so make shorter work of this stuff. So now I've got some spacers here on the back wall. This has to come off because there was water getting back in here, and it's kind of moldy. Rephrase that. It's not kind of moldy, it's really moldy. It's like nails every 4 inches in this. This is a little spacer. I don't understand. Why would you do this? Why? What spacer needs 30 nails in a 5-foot run? right, so that was a lot more work than I thought it was going to be. It's funny how that turns out, right? All right, so whoever did this one, right, was never intending to have to come back here. I don't care who comes after me. Screw those guys. I want to make them suffer. Everyone else, all these other ones on here were fine, but this one had a nail every 4 inches, and it was like 2 thin little sheets of plywood, so it was a big pain to get off. Everything else was cool, though. It was like a nail every 6 inches, so it was like a vacation for me. All right, so next up, I'm going to sneeze. Wait. Oh, I thought it went away. All right, so I've got this shower opening here, and this is the shower as it's going to be. I've got 3 walls here, and I'm going to guess none of them are quite right. And for the most part, at least on this side and on the back, they don't extend past the lip of the tub. So I want to be sure and come over that lip, that little piece that curves up so the water doesn't get down behind. And I also have a complication on this side. So there's a vent line here, and it's actually got a pretty sizable coupling down here. So I got to figure out how I can build this up far enough to get past that coupling, but still allow the go board to get past the lip on the tub. Start out with, though, I'm just going to work to clean things up in here because there's like years and years of old caulk and gunk around where that lip is. So I'm going to get that cleaned up first. All right, so the secret to this is just acceptance. There's nothing you can do. This is just going to suck. It's going to take a while. I do have a couple of different chisels, my pry bar. I've got this 4-inch flooring scraper with a sharp blade. I just got to get her done. You know what? I did figure out a secret to this. Genesis's greatest hits. It's fill. Keeps me moving. Decided to put a little mask on. The air was starting to taste a little crispy. No one likes crispy air. All right, so this is what done looks like. Mostly because it's as much as I'm actually willing to invest in it at this point. But we got the area around the tub all cleaned up. So now when I put the go board on top of it, I can get it right down on this lip, probably put a piece of backer rod behind it, and then caulk it, and then have a nice seal all the way around the tub. All right, so now I'm just gonna take my level and hang it over the surface here and see where I end up. And for the most part, on this side, I am right where I wanna be. So that go board is just gonna sit right on top of this lip, right over the top of it. Might have to shim it out just a little bit at the bottom, but that looks pretty good. For the most part, it's the same with the front over here. It's actually gonna extend a little bit further than I'd like, but I'm not gonna do anything about that. We're just gonna live with it. I'll stick the backer rod back there, it'll be good. On the back wall though, is where majority of my work's gonna be. So I've got over maybe 3/4 of an inch or so that I got to account for, which is good because I bought 1x2s, which is 3/4 of an inch, which is going to be perfect. I need the spacers to go all the way up to the ceiling, and they need to protrude just a little bit out front of the face of the tub. I've got a 2x or a 1x here, which is getting me out in front of the stink pipe here. I think mostly. Yep, that's just getting me just barely above that. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure and cut a 1x2. Let's go 74. Yeah, let's start off with 74. I'm feeling lucky. All right, so we're going to start off with 72 because I only bought the 6-foot 1x2s. So I don't have to cut anything. All right, so I was planning on taking a trip to the hardware store anyway today, but this is where I do it a little bit early because I just realized I forgot to get the right kind of screws to tack these in. So I'll be right back. All right, so since I know I need screws this whole length, first thing I'm gonna do is just pre-drill or pre-screw a few screws here. I can't say screws. Screws. There's no Allen screws. I'm just gonna put a bunch of screws in here so that when I'm up there, I don't have to be fiddling around with dropping screws. And I think it'll be faster. Little test here. See how we did. I would say we are just right. We need 1, 2, 3 more. So here's where I find out that the two different sides of the wall, at least they're clearing that coupling on that vent line, but the two in between aren't. So it's time to get some shims. All right, so after spending more time than I'd like to admit, trying to, in a 3-foot space, try and get everything coplanar with a 4-foot level, I just got a piece of scrap. I should have done this from the beginning. Now I've got a nice, reasonably flat surface that I can just kind of put up against these and see where they're at. So, whoops. All right, so now the left side and the right side are coplanar, as well as the two in the center there. So I should have a nice flat surface when I'm mounting up that go board. All right, so now I need to do the same thing along this wall. Fortunately, when I put these two new studs in, I made them coplanar with that corner. It's just this one that's out of alignment. And the good news is it's about maybe a 1/4 inch, 3/16 of an inch. So I'm just gonna grab a piece of scrap 1/4 inch plywood, and we're just gonna run that along the length there and call it good. All right, so now, all the way up this wall, I've got little to no gap, which is gonna help me when I put that go board on, and ultimately when I put that tile up. All right, so next up, I've got this Delta Classic shower only setup here. So it's got the shower head and it's got the thingy here, the valve, the thingy that you turn. It's not a diverter, I don't know what it's called. But maybe it says on here, whatever it is. So I've never installed one of these before, and I'm not just installing these pieces, I actually have to install this rough-in valve as well. And the thing about rough-in valves is they can be a little tricky. This edge here, the plastic edge, has to be flush with your finished wall, which means I have to know what the depth of my finished wall is going to be. So you're going to see me doing some math today. It's pretty exciting. I've never done this before. You'll be watching me learn as I go. Luckily, I don't think there's an easier setting for me to do this for the first time. I mean, the wall's open, both front and back. I mean, there's really nothing in the way. So fingers crossed this goes well. All right, so I got a 1/2 inch for my go board, an 1/8 inch for my thin set, and about 5/16 for my tile, which leaves me with about 15/16 of finished wall. All right, so I got to be honest, even after all that amazing math, I'm not sure which way to do it is best, so I'm just going to kind of feel it out. I know what my finished wall is going to be. As long as I install that rough-in shower valve 15/16 off of these studs here, I should be all set. All right, so I've got a couple of helpers I'm going to attempt to use here. So first, I'm just going to get one of these in. I'm going to level this. That in just so it doesn't move. And then over here, got a slightly longer level I'm going to use to try and make this parallel. All right, so now that these are level, in theory, I can just kind of stick this guy on here and measure as I need to. All right, so I had to take a little break from filming because my battery was low, and it had nothing at all to do with the fact that that was one of the most frustrating things that I've encountered so far in this apartment. So when I started, I had no appreciation for how difficult it was to get something plumb, level, and at the right depth in 3 dimensions. It's just, it was a little difficult. I finally got it, so it's I think good enough within the tolerance that I think is acceptable here. One thing that did help me out a lot was setting up these kind of legs sticking out. I got those leveled first, and then measured my depth here that this faceplate had to come out to. So that worked out pretty well for me. I've got the pieces that I'm going to need here to attach so I can run my PEX lines. So I'm just going to do that real quick, and then we're going to run the line for the shower head up, and then connect here, and then work our way down to the basement. All right, so I got my tape, I got my dope, I've got literally the only adjustable wrench I own. We're going to attach all of these adapters here. They're female threaded adapters. We're going to get those on so we can connect the PEX lines. hands off and put on gloves because I'm not wearing anything I want to get dope on, which is saying something because normally I just wipe my hands all over the place. Screws. Oh, 2-inch screws. 2.5-inch screws. We'll take those. All right. So that is all up. I got one more screw I got to put in there, but I'm going to hook this up first. All right, so this is as done as it's going to get today. Doing a little bit of an audible. I ran this down because I was going to hook it up. And then I decided I want to do a little bit more planning before I end up making a mess down in the basement like it's already there. So we're going to hold off on finishing these probably for the next time I'm here, where I'm going to spend more time in the basement rerunning the plumbing and kind of dealing with that. All right, so the last thing I wanted to get done for the day, and just make sure you don't actually just go back and look at the intro again. This was it. This was all that was on my list. I'm about to finish up everything I said I was going to get done for the day. Yeah, just trust me. Anyway, the last thing I want to get done for the day is framing this out. So my plan is to drywall this whole area here. So currently we've got this door here out to the living room. That one, open it up. That one goes out to the bedroom. We're going to close that off because it doesn't work with the new layout where we're going to have the vanity right here. There won't be enough room to get by. And honestly, it was a little weird to have 2 doors going into this one tiny bathroom. I think it makes a lot more sense to have everyone enter in from the common area, right? The rooms are all around this one space. So when they created this door, it looks like they just kind of cut through the members that were supporting this area. I don't think this is structural, but I'm going to put a real quick header together. We're going to put it here anyway to try and support some of that. Just keep it from moving in the future. Probably not necessary, but we're going to do it anyway. Every single one of my batteries is dying. I'm pretty sure my day's almost done. All right, so my phone's about to die. My microphone is actively, I'm not sure if it's still working. I'm gonna call it quits for the video for the day. I am gonna go back and just finish up that framing. I just got a couple of 2x4s to put up. It should be pretty quick. As always, thank you for joining me. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.